Alright, this video is on linear inequalities. So this isn't a whole lot different than solving an equality, meaning something with an equal sign. So we're still going to be subtracting and adding and dividing by both sides to isolate z. The goal is to isolate the variable. But there are a few differences. But let's start and take a look. We're going to do this two different ways so that you can see the exact differences. Okay, so I'm going to type out 3 minus 8z is strictly greater than 2 plus 3z. Okay, so the way we start this is the same way you start solving for a equality. So that's something, if this had an equality there, you'd know how to solve this. You'd add 8z to both sides, you'd subtract 2 from both sides. So let's do the same thing. So if we subtract 8z, or if we add 8z to both sides, this will cancel out. Right here, let's just copy and paste that. So we add 8z to both sides, that brings this 8z over here, and we're adding, right? So then that's 11z. And then we can subtract 2 from both sides, so let's get rid of that 2 and subtract it here, and then we get, that's 1. And then what we do is the same as if this were an equality. You'd divide both sides by 11, but it's not. So let's divide by both sides by 11. We get a fraction. We get 1 over 11 is strictly greater than z. Oops, sorry, I meant strictly greater than z. So that should be a solution. We get 1 over 11 is strictly less than z. Sorry, I'm not sure which way I said it before. 1 over 11 is strictly greater than z, and z is strictly less than 1 over 11. You could write it either way. Yeah, we could write it like z is strictly less than 1 over 11. Same thing. We just switched the sign and just switch everything around. Okay, so we could take a look back at our quiz, and I'll pop the answer up here. Correct answer, z is less than 1 over 11. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a slightly different version just to make sure you understand how dividing by negatives work. So this is our same inequality, but let's say we subtract 3z from both sides. We'll get 3 minus 8z minus 3z strictly greater than 2, right? We subtracted 3 from both sides. And then we're going to have to subtract this 3 from both sides. Sorry, we subtracted 3z, now we're going to subtract 3 from both sides. So we get 2 minus 3, that's minus 1, right? So this becomes minus 11, right? So this is the same thing, we just did it the other way around. Instead of getting positive numbers, we got negative numbers. And so in this case, you're going to have to divide by negative 11 on both sides to isolate z. But whenever you divide by a negative number, you have to flip this inequality. So that's the rule. You have to flip the inequality whenever you divide by a negative. So we're going to divide by negative 11, which isolates z, but we flip the inequality and we get 1 over 11. And as you see, that's the same answer we got before. And that's why we had to flip the inequality, because if we didn't flip the inequality, we would get something different. But we know the answer to be that. So you always, that's the rule, you always flip the inequality. And so we just did it both ways, and you see the solution.